MHD is pleased to welcome Mazella and Palmer demonstrating a salon-created cut, featuring pointers on vertical and pivoting sections, flat graduation, layering, over-direction pointing techniques and suitability.
We have chosen not to use protective clothing in order that the body position of the model can be clearly seen. This may have health and safety implications.
I'm Jean-Baptiste Mazella from Mazella & Palmer. This is my model Stephanie. So the feeling with Stephanie today, we're going to work with a very kind of contemporary shape that works really well in salon environment. So working with a flatter feeling towards the back, allowing the shape to frame the face structure a bit more. So working with the natural hairline, taking the weight off the back to bring the graduation slightly higher. Working with a very similar feeling on the opposite side, once again to remove some of the weight and slightly bring the length towards the cheekbone. Then finally working with an extended length towards the front to frame the face shape.
Jean-Baptiste creates 4 initial horizontal sections. Section 1 runs from behind the ear on both sides over the occipital bone. Section 2 runs from below the temple on both sides around the head just under the crown. Section 3 runs from just above the temples and the parietal ridge around the head in front of the crown, leaving a 4th top section. Section 2 is split into 2 halves. Section 3 is split into 3 rectangles.
So let me take you through the section on Stephanie, not necessarily how the section's been placed, but why and how we're going to use the section in the hair. So starting with the back area, we're going to work with a flat tailored graduated shape from the nape to the top of the head. And working my graduation going towards the side, I will use an over direction to keep some length towards the cheekbones. I will use the same technique towards the other side to have a balance with my shape. Now going on to my top section, I actually have 4 different sectioning. In reality, it's going to be 3. I had to section, because of the length of the hair, I had to section the right hand side in 2 different sections. So what you'll have is I'm going to work with that first rectangular section with a layer technique running through that will eliminate some of the weight and create a very head-hugging feeling with the shape. I will then work very identical manner with the other side. Then coming on to my last section on the top, a triangle section here, where all the color placement has been done. I've got 2 choices. Either I can over-direct the hair back, connect the short part, or over-direct even more and keep it connected with my graduation. So one will give me more movement, more texture, and the other one, because the over-direction will be more extreme, will keep a lot more length towards the front. So first what I'm going to do is starting working with my graduation and my layering technique, and that will give me a choice and option to finish with my last section.
Jean-Baptiste starts with his first section in the back with a central vertical section. The hair is pulled down at a 45-degree angle, maintaining the fingers at a more vertical angle to achieve a flatter graduation. Jean-Baptiste cuts a line from longer to shorter in the nape. Please note, Jean-Baptiste cuts this section in 3 parts to accommodate his steep angle and short length. Jean-Baptiste continues with pivoting sections from his centre, working towards a more horizontal plane, employing the same elevation and cutting angle. Please note, Jean-Baptiste is mindful to use very fine sections for a precise finish. Once Jean-Baptiste approaches the back of the ear, he over-directs back to maintain weight around the ear. Please note that Jean-Baptiste is mindful to maintain his guide from his initial central section. Jean-Baptiste repeats the same process on the second side, mindful to maintain correct balance. Next, Jean-Baptiste checks his balance on both sides.
So we work the underneath section, working a flat-fitted graduation, starting from vertical section, moving on to horizontal. Did exactly the same on the other side, ensuring to keep more length and weight behind the ear. So moving on to the next section, I've watered the hair down to keep an even tension with the hair. I'm going to start working with vertical section to connect the underneath to that top section here, and I will work with diagonal section using over direction to keeping the length towards the front and flatter the area around the back.
Now, Jean-Baptiste works with his second section. He takes a central vertical section and pulls the hair to 45-degree angle, keeping his fingers slightly vertical, reflective of his initial section, and cuts from short to long. Jean-Baptiste continues with pivoting diagonal sections, using his central section as a guide, and over-direction. Please note, as the sections progress towards the ear, he increases his over-direction, reflective of the first section on the underneath. Once Jean-Baptiste reaches the top of the ear, he then continues with his sectioning, running along the parietal ridge, running down diagonally towards the front hairline. Please note that as Jean-Baptiste works his final few sections, he over-directs back to maintain weight in the front. Next, Jean-Baptiste repeats the same process on the second side. Jean-Baptiste cross-checks his work vertically, ensuring his graduation has his desired flat effect. Next, Jean-Baptiste refines his back outline shape with a pointing technique and clippers. Now, Jean-Baptiste refines his left-hand side outline, choosing a more solid edge, which essentially reduces the graduation on the outline. He uses a pointing technique and clippers. Jean-Baptiste repeats the same process on his second side.
So now I've just set my outline into my shape. I'm going to pass on to my next section here that starts from the crown. Then I'm going to layer the shape through using a round technique. So I'm following the head shape, creating a lot of movement and a lot of reduction in the weight area.
Next, Jean-Baptiste works with his third section. He starts with the central section on the crown. He pulls the hair out at 90 degrees to the head and cuts a straight line. Jean-Baptiste continues with parallel sections to the front hairline. He uses his previous section as a guide, maintaining his 90-degree angle. Please note, this process removes weight and mirrors the head shape. It is also disconnected from the previous two sections on the underneath. Jean-Baptiste repeats the same process on his second side, which contains the parting. On this side, the sections are finer, and for ease and balance, he picks up some of the underneath hair and assesses the amount of weight on the outline and cuts accordingly. Jean-Baptiste then dries off his midsection and then refines with a pointing technique to soften the connection between the shorter and longer lengths. Next, Jean-Baptiste refines the perimeter in the front. Now, Jean-Baptiste works with his top section. He works with a vertical section from the crown to the front, slightly on the left-hand side. He elevates and over-directs back, assesses his desired length, and angles his fingers from shorter to longer. Please note, this section area will sit over the underneath shape and blend with his initial outline graduation. Jean-Baptiste continues with parallel sections using his previous section as a guide and is consistent with his over direction. Next, Jean-Baptiste blow-dries the top, irons, then refines his perimeter front legs with a pointing technique, cutting a curved outline to follow the head shape and bone structure.
So to give you a recap on Stephanie's hair, we started working the back, graduated, then went on to a layered technique, disconnected through the top, running through the sides. Finally, the top section, we brought from the back, from shorter to longer, one more time disconnected to give much more texture and movement. And worked the outline slightly rounded to follow the head shape and the bone structure. Thank you very much, I hope you like it.
The final result, a multiplex of shapes that integrate perfectly to reduce weight and release texture and movement for a perfectly coutured ensemble.